Venezuela was once a land of immense promise. Beneath its soil lay the largest proven oil reserves on the planet, a black gold that fueled an era of unprecedented prosperity. The discovery of oil in 1922 transformed a largely agrarian nation into a regional powerhouse. Money poured in, funding infrastructure projects, social programs, and a rapidly growing middle class. Venezuela for a time seemed destined to become a beacon of development and stability in Latin America. The influx of oil wealth brought about a dramatic shift in Venezuelan society. Cities swelled with people drawn by the promise of opportunity. Education and healthcare systems expanded, offering new possibilities to millions. Venezuela, once a periphery nation, found itself at the center of the global energy market, its oil fueling industries and economies around the world. This newfound wealth, however, came at a cost. Venezuela's economy became increasingly reliant on oil exports, neglecting other sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. The nation's fate became inextricably tied to the volatile price of oil, vulnerable to the booms and busts of the global market. The seeds of a future crisis were sown amidst the prosperity, a dangerous dependence on a single commodity taking root. Despite the warning signs, Venezuela basked in its oil-fueled boom. The future seemed bright, the nation's destiny seemingly secure. Yet beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to appear, economic imbalances and political tensions building, foreshadowing the turmoil that lay ahead. Venezuela's reliance on oil proved to be a double-edged sword. Initial prosperity bred complacency and economic mismanagement. The agricultural sector languished as cheap food imports flooded the market. Manufacturing remained underdeveloped, unable to compete with foreign goods. Venezuela became a rentier state, relying on oil rents. Over-reliance on oil had profound social consequences. Income inequality soared, benefiting a privileged elite. Corruption flourished, enriching officials at the nation's expense. Social unrest grew as the gap between rich and poor widened. The decline in oil prices exposed Venezuela's fragile economic model. The government, deep in debt, struggled to maintain social programs. Austerity measures sparked widespread protests, destabilizing the country. Economic woes deepened in the 1990s, marked by hyperinflation and currency devaluation. The once prosperous nation found itself mired in economic crisis, its vast oil wealth failing to translate into sustainable development. Amidst this backdrop of economic turmoil, Hugo Chávez emerged on the political scene. A charismatic former army officer, Chávez tapped into the widespread discontent, promising a Bolivarian revolution that would redistribute wealth, empower the poor, and break Venezuela's dependence on foreign powers. His election in 1998 marked a turning point in Venezuelan history, ushering in an era of radical social and economic change. Chávez implemented a socialist-inspired economic model, nationalizing key industries, redistributing land, and expanding social programs. Oil revenues, buoyed by high global prices, fueled his ambitious agenda. Millions benefited from subsidized food, healthcare, and education, lifting many out of poverty. Chávez's popularity soared, particularly among the poor and marginalized, who saw him as a champion of their cause. However, Chávez's policies also sowed the seeds of further economic dysfunction. Price controls, while intended to make essential goods affordable, led to shortages and black markets. Expropriations of private businesses, often conducted with little planning or transparency, discouraged investment and hampered productivity. Venezuela's economy became increasingly state-controlled, riddled with inefficiencies and corruption. Chávez's legacy remains complex and contested. His supporters credit him with improving the lives of millions and challenging US hegemony in the region. His detractors argue that his policies laid the groundwork for the economic collapse that followed, characterized by rampant inflation, food shortages, and a mass exodus of Venezuelan citizens. Maduro's reign and economic freefall. Following Chávez's death in 2013, Maduro inherited a troubled economy. He doubled down on Chávez's policies, leading to an economic meltdown. Hyperinflation wiped out savings, causing widespread hardship. Food and medicine shortages led to a humanitarian crisis. Maduro responded with authoritarianism and denial. He silenced critics and jailed opponents. Millions fled, creating a vast diaspora.